Build Propulsion Lab, DevNexus 2024. We are kicking and rolling. We had the keynote already. We now are getting ready to our next session, and in the break we do the interviews about developer productivity, engineering, about all things related to how developers can be more productive through tools. And let me introduce my next guest, my dear friend, Viktor Gamov.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be back to a new show of Baruch's. We running a few more shows together as well. Don't forget to tune in into Hearts of Developer Relations with Developer Relations Radio.
Developer Relations Radio all the way.
Yes.
Yes. So, Viktor, it's not like we didn't have this conversation many times before.
Yes.
But let me ask you, what are you working on right now?
Yeah, so currently I'm working in open source project called Apache Pinot. It is a real-time analytics database, and there's a lot of things that we can unfold in this conversation. I work for a company called Star3. We're contributing to Apache Pinot. We're providing the managed service for speaking about the productivity, so the people will not spend the time on kind of building infrastructure themselves.
Here we go. Yeah, so a couple of things, very important things to unpack. First of all, my favorite name for a project, Apache Pinot.
Yes.
Because Pinot.
Yes.
Pinot.
Wine. Yes.
Because wine. DevOps France, here we come. We're going to do a lot of Pinot. So I love the name. You're not drinking, so you're missing out both on trying Pinot, and you're missing out on so many opportunities.
References. Yes.
So many opportunities to promote the project.
Yes.
That aside, although it's very hard to put aside, user-facing analytics, I'm not sure what are we talking about.
Yeah, it is kind of like a very interesting question to talk about. So before I answer this question, I want to ask you something. Do you use LinkedIn?
I most definitely use LinkedIn very heavily, daily.
I would argue that this answer to this question 5 years ago would be different, because 5 years ago LinkedIn was different platform that time. It was the place where you just go, okay, update my resume and whatever. Someone will connect from my university or from my work. Now these days you're probably getting notified throughout the day multiple times. Hey, few people look at your profile. Like some people were looking what the Baruch does and what stuff like that. So engagement with users, and this one big use case was actually powered by Apache Pinot. Apache Pinot was created in LinkedIn, and the people using this in LinkedIn.
So
Now,
the feature of, hey, such and such looked at your profile, this is how Pinot was born, basically.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
And the problem is that the situation where you need to get this data, you cannot have this data tomorrow. You want to have this data ideally in the minutes of this person look at your profile. Why?
Yeah, there is like a use case. I did an interview, and then immediately after the interview, I want to see how it went.
Precisely.
So what I would do is go to LinkedIn and see who checked my profile from this company, because I know that the recruiter or whoever I spoke with will send my LinkedIn to other people if it went well.
Yeah.
And I can see that, hey, their boss looked at it.
Yes.
That's a good sign.
Yes.
Very cool.
And so, how it is relevant for this is kind of like a use case of an analytical database. You can get the output of that. Yes, the person from the say in the US or like in the type of CEO. You can have a different slice and dice. It's a classical analytical use case. There are multiple dimensions: geography, position, salary range, previous companies. There's multiple things that you can configure in this kind of like a real-time dashboard. Now, how many people using LinkedIn every day?
Tens of millions.
Tens of millions.
Yeah.
Everybody have access to the same feature.
Yeah.
It's not like old days when you're running a report for your boss,
right?
And they're running this report overnight, and in the morning it has this report on his table.
Business objects.
Yes.
Microsoft Business Objects.
Crystal reports.
Yes.
You're probably older because you know some other things that I don't know. Because Crystal reports and like BERT. Remember BERT?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Speaking about productivity, like how much time you spend to develop this, to deliver this, and get this data.
It was so painful.
Yeah, and one of the use cases that how to bring the fresh data and immediately query this data.
Yeah.
Naturally, the Pinot, because it was created on LinkedIn, has integration with Kafka, and events, every time when people click to your profile, is actually generate event. And this event goes into Kafka.
Yeah.
And after that, it will be sucked into Pinot and transformed into the form that would be immediately available for query. How cool is that? So you don't need to wait, you don't need to run ETL jobs, or like say you enter this information into your operational database, someone needs to transform it into say in a columnar format because this is how you run aggregations and more efficiently. Nothing of this is required. So Pinot will handle this by you just saying, here's my Kafka, my users will clicking, events will go into Kafka, and it's immediately available for querying and immediately available for building this, the dashboard with multiple dimensions.
Why? So there are events in Kafka. It sounds like you can just build like a dashboard on top of Kafka.
Yes, absolutely right. And I was talking about like years when I was talking about Kafka streams, Flink, and all these type of systems. However, there is a lot of, speaking about productivity, if you want to get busy or you want to get things done, you want to deliver features faster, or you want to just like go into this, build, test, deploy, make sure everything scales for you. Like you can definitely build this microservice with Kafka streams. You can have this, the queryable storage. But the problem with this queryable storage that's available in Kafka streams, there's no indexes. You can have only like a key value thing that, in order to do this analytical stuff, when you have multiple dimensions in slicing and dicing, you will need to come up with something that would look cumbersome to the system.
So is it just harder or like to build, or is it just like it will be slower if I just use Kafka directly?
Yeah, I think it's going to be both, because it will require a lot of thinking around the infrastructure, moving things around. There was some tooling that allow you to do certain things. Initial version of this dashboard in LinkedIn of this Who Viewed My Profile, they used even Elasticsearch. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like example where incredible technology was put into use in some use cases that was not designed to. Yep. It's amazing technology for doing like a fuzzy search, like full text search type of stuff, but it was not suitable for fast, like the hyper concurrent setting of the running multiple queries, where the Pinot is basically born.
That makes sense. But okay, so and the other way around, if I have other storage that I want the user-facing analytics out of, which is not Kafka, do I now have to bring Kafka in as like an intermediate layer for Pinot to use?
No. So remember, we had this like anecdote when we were doing a couple years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. We did the talk with Baruch together. We're talking about stream of events that happened on a bin tray. Rest in peace, incredible technology. And we were trying to put this the kind of anomaly detection on top of the stream of events. And remember, there was multiple components. We need to put the Kafka Connect, we need to put Kafka Streams, KSQL, and after that we need to figure out the way how we can display this information. Nothing is this is required anymore in the world of Pinot. And with resources like, you say you have a bunch of files lying around and you want to upload this, you just use the Pinot native the loaders of data from S3, and data will be available there. There's a bunch of different connectors to different databases
Right.
that you can, read the data from.
So basically, you can suck it from wherever.
Yeah, so essentially the idea of this analytical store is that you're not writing your insert queries because you have some jobs that will bring the data in. If it's the case, we call it like offline tables. It's a name that, we come up with this, yes, and it is named, yes. It's sometimes creating confusion, but it's a offline table called. And the real-time tables, when we can suck this data from Kafka, Pulsar, Kinesis, what else people might want. There's different sources, and there's hybrid approach.
Yeah, no, that it can be anything. It can be any type of database. It can be files. It can be S3.
Yeah.
It can be whatever.
Yeah.
Just like some streaming data coming from whatever thing.
Yeah, and in Starter Cloud for Apache Pinot, we also have a data manager that allows you what we call it ClickOps, to click around and put the things in motion immediately. Start like putting the data inside the Pinot. So
very cool.
there's a lot of things, and we understand that the data is not just data. If data lying around somewhere, it's not making any value for the organization. So
that's very true.
integration part is very important. And again, every time when you feel that there's no native connector, everything can be done through Kafka, as you know. Because after this talk, someone came into Baruch and asked, "Hey Baruch, I have a question. I have a task of replicating data from Oracle to MongoDB, and how I can do it?" And what Baruch said, use Kafka Connect. There's a connector for Oracle that can do CDC for you.
Yep.
And you can bring this data into MongoDB through Mongo, the source connector, SYN connector.
So it sounds like it's a very good synergy between Pinot and Kafka. Makes sense. Doesn't make sense for the names though.
Yeah.
It almost like Pinot should have been a writer, or Kafka should be a wine for it to work.
Yeah. No, I mean
I think there is a missed opportunity there.
Exactly, yeah. I think the naming is kind of interesting situation because there was few projects that was around Kafka community that have some references to other kind of literature. Example, there was a stream processing framework called Samza as a character from the what was the story? The Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
There was the plugin called Camus. Like a writer. They were supposed to be doing some interoperability with Hadoop and Kafka. So, but with Pinot.
They're almost like sister projects.
Yeah, exactly.
But the naming doesn't. Yeah.
And the people who developed the Pinot and Kafka before, they come up with this first project called Espresso, and another project was called Project Voldemort. That's kind of the naming is hard. Naming
I would go with espresso and Pinot just because both drinks it kind of makes sense.
Right.
But Voldemort,
Yeah, probably
Kafka,
espresso. So
random.
espresso was the first attempt to build this data infrastructure in order to feed these use cases.
Yeah.
And why it is user facing. So you can build those features faster now because you have a very powerful and very performant data store that can perform very concurrently multiple queries, and data is there. Data came from the sources, from events, and
one thing I'm missing is the UI of all this thing, right? So you have the data, you have it in the format which is very easy to build reports. How do I do the UI of those reports? What people see?
Yeah, so this is a very good, great question. So there's multiple ways to do this. There's some native integrations with another Apache project that's called Apache Superset, for example. It's the project that allows you to just have a connection and have a UI where you can also click ops, put different graphs, different dashboards in visualization. For this presentation here at DevNexus, I will be showing another cool open source project that's currently supported by Snowflake called Streamlit. It's a Python framework, and it has a great integration with Pinot driver for Python. So Pinot driver, it's Query, and the Streamlit draws nice auto-refreshing dashboard.
Grafana, anything?
So yeah, we're working on the kind of providing some sort of like a native interface. So the kind of like expose maybe like the Prometheus endpoint
That
where the Grafana.
would what I expected to be out of the
use
box
this
without
internally.
like doing any job.
Yeah.
I can just like have it, just a couple of Grafana queries and if something might not be as sleek as the end product, but for developer productivity engineering, having the fastest value out of it, I just like, you know what, hey, I want to introduce user-facing analytics in my company. First thing I do, I set up Pinot to get the data from somewhere, Kafka if I have it, not Kafka if I don't, and then just, I already have Prometheus and Grafana, so all I need to do is set up some dashboards and I'm done in like a day.
Yeah, we're doing this like internal research in order to kind of like do the proof of concept. But yeah, we're right now working on having some sort of like a interoperability layer that allows to quickly plug existing solutions like Grafana.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, folks, here you have it. A lot of interesting stuff about Pinot and how it contributes to developer productivity engineering. Vic's talk is coming up like 2 p.m. or something.
Yeah, 2:30.
And obviously, Vic is going to record it and put it on his speaking.gamusa.com.
I actually forgot to. I
can give you the gear.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So speaking.gamov.io. So after 2 p.m. basically later today, you can go there and see the talk. If you are not at DevNexus, if you are at DevNexus, just come and see it live. And here's Vincent Myers, the organizer of DevNexus, is coming to the frame to say hi. Here you go.
What's up, peeps?
we're going over here.
Hey,
we're going
Vince,
live.
thank you very much for doing that again. 20 years of absolute awesomeness.
Well, it's only 15 years to me, but you're welcome.
Yeah.
This is great. Yep. So, all right. Thank you very much. And
Stay
see you in the
tuned
next
for
interview.
more interviews from Build Propulsion Lab here from DevNexus. Baruch Sadogursky.
Viktor Gamov.
And as always, have a nice day.
And DevRel Radio, don't forget.